Hey, playa, welcome to a new live stream here on the Josh Speaks. I hope it's not going to be choppy or broken up, but for those of you that are new here, my name is Josh, and every single Monday through Friday, I make videos sharing tips, ideas, and stories teaching you how to be your best self. Now, I'm streaming live here from France, which took a bit of time to kind of set up, so I apologize for jumping on here late, but I do want to talk to you guys all about my high school experience. All week long, I've been putting out videos talking about high school, what it was like for me, different things I had to deal with, like bullying or crushes or grades, school stress, all those different kinds of things. What I really want to focus on this live stream is kind of answering your guys' questions and then kind of sharing related stories and experiences that I've had that kind of tie into the questions to help give you an understanding of what things were like for me. Now, first, I want to jump in and say hi to everyone here in the chat. People asking why it's so dark. So I have these two lamps that are in this kitchen here. Just so you guys know, I'm here in France. So I kind of have this makeshift setup. I'm using my phone as kind of a backlight, and I put a filter there in front of it. It's a whole work in progress here, so we'll see what happens. I don't even know if the audio, I'm using the microphone here as the audio. So hopefully it's as good as it can get. But if you haven't already, hit the thumbs up button on this video, guys. I do want to jump in and say hi to a few people that are regulars here. Gamer Ski, good to see you. Arby, Young Ames, Elite Minds, King Fires, Arby, Dark Soul, CJ, Anthony. Good to see all of you guys again. Now, it's 11 p.m. in Europe. Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's 11 p.m. right now. I know it's 5 p.m. over there, so I tried to schedule this when I usually go on live. But I do want to say, guys, that this did take a bit of time to kind of set up. First thing I want to do is this. I want to tell you guys a little story about high school, what it was like for me. Now, I documented this in a video, kind of talking all about kind of my first day of high school, where I talked about how I was nervous and shy and awkward. And on my very first day of high school, I kind of just had this overwhelming feeling like I was just going to be crushed by all the pressure, crushed by the pressure of the schoolwork, of making friends, of just kind of dealing with this new environment. So that was a major fear of mine. And I know for a lot of you guys, it's a fear that you guys have too. And it's a fear that can kind of overwhelm you. It can make you feel like you can't handle the challenges that are going to come your way in high school. So you might be going into this new school year super stressed out or worried or nervous, and that's what this live stream is for. I want to answer your guys' questions. I want to help you guys get through those moments because I was in that position too. I was that nervous, awkward freshman or junior or senior or sophomore or wherever you guys are. But now that's really why I want you guys to hop in here. I want you guys to tell me, what grade are you going into? Some of you guys have already started school. Some are not starting school till a little bit later. What grade are you guys going into? Just Neff, thank you for the $2 super chat. Thursday vibes. I appreciate it. Thomas Turner saying, Anthony, my first day is 5th of September. Yeah, what's interesting is this, is that I'm from New York, so maybe it's the New York or the East Coast American school system, but generally we start school as soon as pretty much right after Labor Day. So it's that first week of September, whenever Labor Day falls on. We start back that Tuesday, generally that Tuesday. So I'm curious to know when you guys are starting. I know some of you already been in, some of you have been in school for a while now. So when did your summer break end and when did your school year begin? So a few people are jumping in here. Let me look at some of the comments and what you guys are saying. Horamore, 7th grade. Cool, man. Arby's going to 10th. Thomas Turner's in 9th. Artistic Hobbies 8th. Infinite Dreams 9th. CJ says, any tips for exams? That's a good question, CJ. So let's get right into that. Let's get into exams, for example, right? So when it comes to taking exams, when it comes to studying for exams, I think one thing that a lot of people tend to overlook is having a study group or a group of friends that you can kind of bounce ideas off of, study together, learn together. Now, this is something that I didn't really take too much advantage of in high school. And you got to remember the simple idea. It's that everyone in your class is studying to take the same test. Everyone's working towards the same goal of passing the exam. And it would only make sense for you to talk to the kids in your class, to befriend them, to get to know them better, and to say, hey, let's study together. Let's share notes. Let's meet up and actually hit the books and study and test each other and prepare. So when it comes to studying for exams, I think having a group of people that you can kind of work through and study with can be super helpful. Here's the interesting thing I've learned about taking notes is that when you take your own personal notes, you write down the things that stick in your mind, the things that you remember, the things that it's like, oh yeah, that. So you have your list of things. Now the next person has their list of things too. So if you guys share notes with each other, then you can pull apart and pull in the things that they they focused on, and they can pull apart the things that you focused on, so you guys can kind of cross and share. Now that could be so much easier today than it was back when I was in high school. When I was in high school, I didn't really talk to a lot of kids in my class, so when I had to study for a test, kind of went at it alone, which wasn't always the best strategy to take. But nowadays, you can type up all your notes. Your friends and your classmates can type up all their notes, and you guys can just share it all in a Google Drive folder and just share it with each other. So everyone has access to everyone else's work, and you guys can all work towards getting good grades in class. So that would be my main tip for studying and exams. If something that I didn't really have access to, like there wasn't really sharing accessibilities when I was in high school, and plus I was just too nervous. So that would be the kind of main thing when it comes to studying and preparing for exams. Try doing that. Try implementing a study group of some kind. So Elite Minds is saying my summer started on July 19th. Oh, okay. So your summer started July 19th. Okay, so you're probably not going back to school for a while then. Thomas Turner saying, Josh, what are you doing in France? So a few of you guys might be curious, Josh, why are you in France? So next week is the 1 year anniversary from when me and my wife got married. I'm gonna link up the video over here afterwards when the video goes, the replay is there. But I talk all about how we got married, what our process was like, and this is us celebrating here in France. So we're celebrating our 1 year anniversary, which is cool. Gamerski saying, Josh, I think I have a cool question. Could you share your experience with cheating on tests? And I think you did it. Yes, that's a good question. And I'll tell you guys a very funny story of cheating. So not so much, actually I have two stories with cheating. I'll share them both because I think they're pretty funny. The first story, I intentionally cheated and I didn't get caught for it. Now, this is what I did. Now, keep in mind, I do not recommend any of you guys do this. I do not condone this. I do not support it, but it's something that I did do. I had a Spanish test, and in Spanish, you need to know different words and the translations and things like that. Now, what I did was I wrote out a bunch of the translations for what were going to be on the test and what we had to know. I wrote on a little piece of paper, and I stuck it inside of my glasses case. And I kept that glasses case on the desk. And then every single time, I needed to figure out what a translation or what a word translated to, I just kind of peeked open and looked at the glasses case and then closed it. Now, the teacher walked by several times and didn't really think much of it because I just wore my glasses during the test. Now, normally I don't wear glasses. I only wear them to see the board. So the teacher didn't think anything of it. She just thought that, okay, he's just wearing his glasses during the test. And I'm pretty sure I did fairly well on that test because I cheated, which, like I said, I don't condone. Now, the second instance of cheating, I was an accomplice in someone else cheating. I can't believe I'm telling you guys these stories. So what happened there was a kid next to me, and he told me, hey, this was also a conveniently Spanish class. I had my Spanish textbook with me, and he's like, hey, leave your book open on your bag so that I can peek down and look at the answers. I remember telling him, hey, no, man, we're going to get caught. You're going to get in trouble. Since it's my book, the teacher's going to know. And basically what happened was I flipped open the book and I left it down on the side, and I just I'm not going to look at it. I'm going to pretend like it's not there. And the book is open, right? The book is open on the page with all the words to translate and everything like that. And the kid is making it so obvious. He just literally looking at his desk over like this. Just like flat out cheating, not like discreetly cheating, just flat out cheating. And he just literally was writing down the answers. So of course the teacher sees that, comes over, sees the book is open. And he's like, and he's just like, oh, I didn't know that was there. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even open the book. I just kind of put it down on the ground. And it just happened to land on the page that we needed it to land on. So we both kind of got in trouble. I told the teacher that I didn't do it, that I put my book down, and he probably kicked it open or opened it when I wasn't looking. So I kind of put the blame on him, but I was an accomplice in cheating. I did get in trouble for that. He did get caught, totally just made it so obvious just staring at the thing. But those are two instances of me cheating or being involved in cheating in school. Like I said, I don't think they were the smartest thing to do. Looking back, it's like cheating may help you pass the exam, but it doesn't really help increase your ability to learn new things. And I think that's the skill you really want to have. You want to be able to kind of jump into things, to master learning them, and kind of get past it and move forward. Now, for me, I kind of took the shortcut, which I don't always recommend. Mystified is saying, hey, Josh, I really want to start a YouTube channel, but I'm afraid of being made fun of at school. What should I do? That's a good question, Mystified. So let me tell you something about that, about this idea of wanting to pursue something new and being afraid that people are going to make fun of you. Now, first off, I'm going to say it right now. You definitely should make a YouTube channel. 100% should do it. You have my full support, man. I will help you as much as I can. Anything you need, advice, tips, ideas for videos, anything. I'm there for you, man. So I'm here to support you. So one, you can rub that in kids' face and say, hey, this YouTuber is going to help me set up a channel. That's something that you should be proud of. and be like, kind of boast about it to those kids. But two, if you're afraid that people are going to make fun of you for kind of putting yourself out there, That's the common thing. A lot of times when you're entering and doing something new, especially things that other kids aren't generally doing or haven't dabbled in, kids always make fun of the person that's attempting to break the mold, to try something new, to be different. So by you being different, you're really just kind of showing them that, hey, I'm not going to conform and do all the same things that everyone else does. I want to be original. I want to be unique. And that's cool, man. That is the coolest thing that you can do, because what you're doing is you're establishing a sense of self. You're showing everyone that you know who you are and you know what you want. And you're not going to allow other kids to kind of dictate how you pursue your hobbies. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to lay down some truth for you here. Your first few videos are probably going to suck. And the reason they're going to suck is because you're going to be in the process of figuring out who you are as a creator, figuring out what you want to do. I look at my first videos and they sucked, right? They weren't good. It took me a long time to really just start to understand what I wanted to do and to kind of shape it and mold it in the way that really fit my personality. In the beginning, you might be a little awkward or shy or weird on camera, but as time goes on, as you keep cranking out videos, just getting in the habit of doing it, you're going to get better and better at it, and people are going to take notice of that. So that's what I would suggest. If you want to start a YouTube channel, go for it, man. Don't let anyone hold you back. Ultimate Doggy Time is saying, how do I ask my crush if she already knows in middle school? That's a good question, Ultimate Doggy. I've done a few videos on what to do if you told your crush you like them, if your friend told your crush, if they somehow found out, what do you do? Ultimately, I think it comes down to this. If your crush knows that you like them, the best thing for you to do from that moment going forward is to talk to them, to pursue them, to ask them to hang out. Because pretending like you don't like them or hiding it or hoping that it'll go away isn't going to help you get closer to them. Keep in mind, you like this person. You want to develop something with them. So you want it to move forward, not backwards. So by not acting on it, you're only going to let it move backwards, which is not what you want. Go check out the videos I have going more in depth on that topic, but that's what I would really suggest. Atlanta Boy saying, don't watch my videos, they're cringy AF. Yeah, I mean, I saw someone else said their first video. Thomas Turner says my first video is the best video. So Thomas Turner, I got to check out your first video. But for most of us, it's like when we're starting, we don't really know what we want to do. We haven't really gotten into our groove. It takes time to get into your groove. So that's kind of where I was. I'm assuming that's kind of where you're going to be too. Arby's asking, am I going to go live on Instagram? I might go live for maybe 10, 15 minutes. We'll see. Like I said, I'm here in Paris. There's a lot going on, but we'll see what happens. Horror Moore says, I go to high school in 2 years. Will this help me out? Definitely, Horror Moore. Check out all the videos that I've been putting out all week long, all about high school, how to succeed in high school. And Horror Moore, since you're still in middle school, check out the videos I did 2 weeks ago, all about middle school. Those should help you out too. Basically, what I want to do is help you guys get ready, get into the right mindset going back to school. I know a lot of you guys are nervous about it, and I want to kind of tackle a lot of the challenges you guys are facing. For example, tomorrow I'm putting out a video talking about high school bullies and what you can do to deal with high school bullies, how I dealt with high school bullies, how I talked to them, how I interacted with them, how I stood my ground. So I do want to share a few high school bully stories with you guys in tomorrow's video, which should be really cool. Hopefully you guys will check it out. Anthony's saying, the upcoming school year, I'm going to grind and do way better than last year. Definitely, Anthony. That's the right mentality to have, man. When you really think about it, it really comes down to this. It's like every year you want to do better. Every year you want to kind of pursue higher goals and higher dreams. So let's say the last year of school, you kind of slacked off. You didn't do so well. You failed a few classes. You struggled. You got in trouble. All these different things happen. Let's say you kind of ran through all these issues. I think the mindset you should really need, the mindset, the mindset you really need to carry going forward is, how can I kind of improve? What can I learn from last year's experience, and how can I kind of build on top of it, right? No one's saying you need to be perfect or you need to have it all figured out. I didn't have it all figured out when I was in high school. I didn't have it all figured out when I was in college either. It really is a growing process and a learning process. As you get older, as you talk to more people, take more classes, do more homework assignments, you really get better at kind of learning and critically thinking about the world around you. So if you feel like you're struggling to get by, don't worry. The more you learn, the more you grow. So as you get older, as you learn more, it could potentially get easier if you're learning to be critical of how you can make changes from your previous self. Maglife, hey dude, good to see you again. Hey Mark, it's me, Mark. I was wondering if you could give me some advice about how to feel good in high school if my strict dog works there. That's a good question, Mark. So I did a video a while ago all about what to do if a family member works in your school and your crush goes there, and how to balance that so that it's not awkward. But here's the thing. If you have a family member that works in your school, and I've had friends that were in that situation, My friend in middle school, his mother was a teacher there, right? He didn't have her as a teacher, but she was a teacher. So obviously she knew about what he was doing in school, what classes he was taking. She was kind of aware of what was going on. And it didn't really affect him too much. Yes, it was kind of weird because sometimes he did see her and that she did say hi to him and do that kind of family member thing where they kind of embarrass you. Yes, that may happen sometimes. And for Mark, Mark, for you, if your aunt, does that, okay, it's not the end of the world, but it may happen. But it shouldn't crush your confidence. You still should be able to succeed and do the things that you want, even if she's there. I'm sure she knows that she doesn't want to stunt your growth. She doesn't want to make you feel weird or awkward or anything like that. She wants you to be happy. She wants you to feel comfortable. So really, she's not going to stand in your way. She's not going to kind of do things intentionally to make you look bad or to make you a joke or to make you look like a nerd or anything like that. So don't worry so much about her. If you have interactions with her, be cool about it, be okay about it, and stay focused on the things you want to accomplish because that's where your mindset should be. Soda Pop is saying, in 10th grade, I finally want to ask on my crush I've had on for 4 whole years. Definitely, man. You got to go for it. It's been 4 years. It's time to act. It's time to act right now. So I would definitely kind of jump on it. Let this start of the school year kind of kickstart you into the right mindset, into the right kind of framework for really talking to her. And really just take those small steps. It really comes down to just as soon as you go back to school, literally do this exact thing. As soon as you see her, follow the 3-second rule. Walk up to her, say, hey, how's it going? How was your summer? Start with that question and just get a conversation going all about the summer. What you did over the summer, what she did over the summer, what you're looking forward to in the school year, what classes you have, what teachers you hate, things like that. Talk about all these things with her. And from there, just say, you seem like a really cool person. I want to get to know you better this year. Let me get your number, or let me get your Snapchat, or let me get your Instagram. Some way to directly contact her. And then from there, take the shift over and start DMing her. Start interacting with her that way. I think that's how you'll start to kind of develop a deeper connection with her where you feel comfortable kind of building on it and really just, like I said, excelling this new school year. Anthony saying, I shall master the 3-second rule when school starts. Definitely, Anthony, do it. Master that 3-second rule. And don't just use the 3-second rule for your crushes. Use it for everyone you interact with. If there's a teacher you want to talk to, but you're nervous. If there's a kid that you want to talk to about something, do it. Follow the 3-second rule everywhere. The Elena boy saying, I take AP classes. That's awesome, man. Yeah, like that is one of the things that it's like a super hack in school, guys. In case you guys didn't catch on my video from earlier this week, a super hack in high school is to take AP classes because first, in some cases, AP classes can make up and take a piece of that college credits that, the college credits you'll have later on. So let's say you take an English AP class, a science AP class, or whatever AP classes you're taking, that's going to account for credits later on. So you don't have to take that class in college. One, it's going to save you money because you're taking less classes in college. And two, you'll be able to graduate faster and you'll be able to, have more free time for yourself because you're making up the work now. Let's see, X Brian saying, Josh, please make a video on how to not start a fight in high school. Please, I need it. Brian, that tomorrow's video is the video you need to watch. Tomorrow's going to be all about how to get a bully to back off. When you're in high school and a person's picking on you and calling you names and threatening to beat you up and all those different things, how do you kind of diffuse that situation and get them to back off? I kind of break it down as best as I can in tomorrow's video, just to kind of give you an idea. The one thing I talk about a lot in that video is kind of not reacting to what the other person's doing. And that's an easy thing for us to do sometimes where someone starts saying something and it's getting under our skin and they start to make jokes, they start to poke fun at us. And our common reaction is to yell at them, to get angry, to feed into them, to kind of give them the win. Now, if you don't want to give them the win and you want to kind of maintain a sense of composure and stay calm, the video tomorrow is going to kind of break down how to do that. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just checking through the rest of what you guys are saying. Jordan Bent is saying, I missed it. Should we be a player with a girl? Make a video on how to make a girl like you or laugh you. Okay, that's a good question. In high school, should you guys be players? Is that what you should aim to do? My honest answer is no. Now, you probably expected that, but here's why. I think when it comes to being a player, what that implies is that you are trying to gain something and take something from someone without giving to them. And I think any real relationship, any relationship that's really worth something is a give and take. It's not just you taking to try to get from them. So for example, if you're someone that just wants to be with a lot of girls and you're kind of like tricking girls into thinking that you want to be with them only so you can kind of get something from them, I don't think that's the right way to go. I think that ends up backfiring on you. You build a reputation for yourself that's not good, and people start to look at you like, hey, he's just not a trustworthy person. And trust is one of the most important things you can build. So you don't want to hurt the potential of building trust with people. So instead of being a player, I think what you should really focus on doing is interacting with people, being friendly, being trustworthy, being likable, and really go in with the mindset of, I want to find a girl or guy that I can really connect with, that I really like, and I can build something really cool with. So you're going to talk a lot to people. You're going to interact with lots of girls. You're going to flirt with them. You're going to go on dates with them. You're going to do all these things. But your mindset is on finding someone you can be with rather than just trying to be with everyone. Artistic hobby saying, didn't realize how many younger kids watch this. Good for you guys. Yeah, definitely. I mean, artistic, what's interesting is that I see such a range of kids here. There's people in middle school, people in high school, people in college, people that are older. And what I really want to do is help young teens and young adults, people that are kind of struggling and working towards being their best selves, kind of understand the strategies they need to kind of pursue that. So that's really what I'm here for. So if you guys have questions and ideas or things you want me to cover, let's talk about it. Let's get a conversation going. Rios is saying, what's the worst time you've had in middle school? Oh man, I've had a lot of worst times. One of the worst times I've ever had was, I mean, like anytime I've gotten in trouble, those were always scary times. Like, I'll give you an example of a time I got in trouble in middle school. So, one time in middle school, I told the story in a stream a while ago about how my friend decided to moon people, right, to show his butt out the window to the dean, and we got in trouble because I was sticking the fingers out and stuff, and the dean saw us both doing this on the bus, and we both got in trouble for that. That was a horrible experience. Like any experience where I had to go to my parents and tell them, hey, I did this really bad thing and I got in trouble, that was kind of the worst experience, worst experiences for me. Let's see. Proclone Play says, Josh, why do most school friends fade away and stay with one or two good friends? In middle school, I had like 15 plus friends. Now I'm left with close 4 friends. Proclone, you hit it on the head. That's something I've talked about in previous videos where this is the reality of it, guys. Not all of your friends that you have now are going to be your friends forever. And the video that I did just the other day, I talk about that a lot of times people focus only on relationships and don't really focus on their friendships. And in doing that, they end up losing those friends over time. And I believe that friendships, especially when you're in high school and middle school, are much more important than your relationships, because relationships will come and go, but the real bonds you build with friends stay. Now, you asked a good question, which is, why do most most friendships fade away? And I think a big reason for that is because when you're younger, right, your friendships are built on simpler things. They're built on maybe the fact that you guys have one thing in common. But as you move on to high school and college and whatever, as you get older, your friendships are built on much more things, right? So it's not just one dimensional, it's multi-dimensional. Maybe when you were younger, you and your friends both liked football and that's what you guys connect over. But now that you're a little older, maybe you like football, but maybe you also like Marvel movies, and maybe you also like skateboarding, and maybe you also like reading, and maybe you also want to date girls and your friends don't. So there are multiple layers to you, multiple dimensions. And that might not always align with your 15 plus friends. It might align with only 4 friends. So you have to be kind of aware of that simplicity and that truth that not all of your friends are going to kind of stick it through with you. Some are going to make new friends and move on. Some of them are going to stick around, and then some of them are just going to not want to be your friend after a while. That's just the truth. It's a sad thing, but it's an honest thing. And I think it's important for us to realize that early on. Elite Minds says, yo, Josh, earlier in this year, my crush admitted to self-harming and it destroyed me. She got help in mid-July, but she feels really, I'm assuming she says sometimes hurts herself, and I've been worrying about all summer. Okay. Plot twist, Thanos didn't really snap his fingers. I watched Avengers finally, guys. So, okay. Anyway, so back to this. So, Elite Minds is saying that his crush admitted to self-harming and it kind of destroyed him. And the fact that she hurts herself, and it seems like you don't really know how to handle it or what to do about it. Well, first and foremost, I think what she really needs is she probably needs to talk to someone about it, whether it's her parents, whether it's a counselor, whether it's a therapist, whatever it may be. She needs to kind of have someone that she can communicate her feelings with, because if she's thinking these things and feeling these things and she has no one to share it with, then it's going to be a problem because she's going to end up hurting herself. And it may not be something she wants to do. She may just not know exactly how to manage the stress and anxiety and anger and sadness that she's feeling. I think a lot of people run into situations like that where they don't have a proper coping mechanism. They don't know or don't have the right tools to deal with these stressful situations. And sometimes the easy ones like hurting yourself or beating yourself up over something are the go-to because we don't have the right way to deal with them. So it sounds to me like first and foremost, she needs someone to talk to. Now that's what I would keep recommending for her to do. Talk to her about maybe using a website like betterhelp.com. Talk to her about talking to her school counselor. Really just keep pushing her to talk to someone. Now, the second piece is that you like this girl. You want to get to know her better. You want to build something with her. And every time she does this, it hurts you. It crushes you. And I get where you're coming from, man. It's never an easy thing to deal with when someone's harming themselves. I think the best thing that you can probably offer her is kindness, warmth, generosity, and just being there to listen to her, right? Like I said before, she needs someone to talk to. Just be there to listen to her. Be there to help her through these tough times. Let her know that she can always open up to you. She can always talk to you when she needs to. Now, keep in mind, that doesn't mean she's always going to tell you everything or she's always going to open up to you. There will be times she wants to keep things to herself or she wants to be private or she doesn't feel comfortable. And that's okay too. Respect those boundaries that she may set for herself, but let her know that the door is always open. And as you work towards getting closer with her, and this is the challenge too, because you don't want to jump in and just totally friend zone yourself, right? You also want her to see that, hey, I like you and I want to get to know you better and I want to be a good, caring person, but I also like you and I want to develop something. So make sure the flirting piece is still part of that component. Horror More asked a simple question: how do you succeed at high school? Horror More, I think the way to succeed at high school boils down to this. If you can work towards being a likable person, then I think you'll succeed. I did a video a while back called the main reason or the number one reason why I wasn't popular in high school. And when I really looked back and thought about it, the answer seems super clear to me. And the answer is this: that if people can talk to you, if people feel comfortable opening up to you and sharing things with you, and you just overall carry yourself like you're an interesting person, you will become popular. People will want to hear what you have to say. They're going to want to know more about you. They're going to want to involve you in things. So that really is the secret. That's what it comes down to. It comes down to really just presenting yourself as a likable person and not just pretending to be likable, genuinely, really just being likable, being someone that people can look at and say, that's a good person. He's got my back. He's fun to talk to. He's someone I can hang around with. So that's how you kind of make it. That's how you succeed at high school. Let's see. Yagmar Solimez says, hi, Josh. So I transferred schools at the end of my freshman year. Could you give any advice for my sophomore year? That's a good question. So if you're someone that's transferring from one school to another, you're the new kid, right? This is a whole new experience for you. Now, you're not new to high school, but you're new to this high school. Now, here's the thing I think that is awesome. And to anyone else here that is going to be a new kid at a new school, you're definitely going to want to pay attention to what I have to say here. If you haven't already, hit the thumbs up button because this advice is going to be key. If you're a new kid at a new school, you have all the opportunities in the world to create yourself and create your image however you want to. And what I mean by that is this: no one knows who you are. And that presents the opportunity for you to kind of carry yourself in a way that you really want people to digest, right? So here's an example of that. Let's say you're someone that is starting at a new school and you want people to think you're a really fun and likable person, right? Like we were talking just earlier about being a likable person. Let's say you want people to feel like they can confide in you and open up to you, right? Carry that mentality and that image from the beginning of the school year. When you talk to people, ask them questions. Thomas Turner says, Josh, you don't want to be your fake self, though. Absolutely, and that's what this all comes down to. It's not a matter of being your fake self. It's really just saying, like, how do I want people to perceive me? Because a lot of times what happens is that when people start something new, they're nervous and they're shy. And that may not be who they really are. It's a new environment. It's intimidating. So you may carry yourself in a way that is not who you are, but people tend to say, oh, that's a quiet kid. Oh, he's a shy kid. That's what it was like for me in high school. To kind of give you guys a quick kind of story with that, it's like when I was in high school, like I was very quiet and very shy. I didn't really talk to a lot of people when I was in class, kind of kept to myself and stuff. But when I hung out with my friends, I was a complete 180, literally just flipped. And the reason for that is because around my friends, I felt comfortable, I felt open, I can talk, I can joke. In class, I didn't carry that. So a lot of the kids in my classes thought, oh, Josh is just a quiet kid. That's all he is. But I wasn't quiet. It was because the environment was intimidating for me. So that's why I say it's important for you to really think about who you want to be perceived as and carry that forward. Now, doesn't mean it's not going to be easy. It might still be scary. You might still get nervous. I get that. But I think it's really dedicating time to think about who you want to be when you're around people in these new situations. Moonstrike says, any advice on quitting procrastination? That's a good question, Moonstrike. A lot of times the reason why we procrastinate is because we're not really dedicated, and I mean mentally dedicated to what we're doing and the task that we're kind of working on, right? So let's say we want to jump into studying and it's like, okay, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to study. But first I'm going to check my phone. And maybe something new is on Twitter, or maybe there's a new YouTube video I want to check out. We start to find distractions for ourselves. That's just naturally how the human brain works. And a big reason is because we don't see the value immediately and upfront of dedicating, let's say, an hour to studying. If I study for an hour, who's to say that I'm going to do better on this test? There's no real guarantee. So we're not as tied into that studying. We're not as invested. I think the way to kind of get over procrastination and kind of finding ways to, just not waste time really is to kind of attach a value to the small things that we want to do. So let's use the studying for an example, right? Instead of telling yourself, I'm going to study for an hour and then that's it, tell yourself, I'm going to read this chapter, I'm going to read this page, and then I'm going to write some notes down based on that page. So now I'm going to create a list of notes, and then from there, I'm going to go and create a bigger list of notes with all my notes. Keep handwriting it as you take notes. And I think as you continue to follow this strategy, you're now giving yourself tasks to follow, and there are immediate results because you have them written down in front of you. That's a little hack that I learned when it comes to taking notes and stuff like that. If you guys have ever heard of Thomas Frank on YouTube, he has a ton of advice videos on dealing with procrastination and studying and things like that. His channel is literally like one of the best on that. So Kevin Kalea says, different type of question. Will you keep on collaborating with Coco, or was it just the one time? Yeah, I'm planning on doing a bunch of videos with Coco as time goes on. I really like doing that video with her. She's fun. She's easy to talk to and easy to kind of organize videos with. So I'm definitely going to reach out to her and do more videos with her. I want to do a video on body language. If you guys have suggestions or ideas for videos you want to see me and her cover, definitely leave them in the chat right now. I'd love to see what you guys have to say. Thomas Turner says, just watch 5 YouTube videos before I do my homework. Yep, and that's what we all do, right? We just say, I'm just going to watch a few videos, and then before you know it, an hour is gone, 2 hours are gone, and you're sitting there going, where did the time go? Gamerski says, I'm in love with the Coco. Yeah, she's great, man. If you guys, for those of you that don't know, check out Coco Chanel here on YouTube. Her channel's amazing. She gives great advice. She's just a real go-getter. I really admire that about her. You have to accept it even if you don't want it, says Josh. How do I know if a girl is attracted to me when I even don't know her? Like if I sit on the bus or something? That's a good question. The truth is you don't know if she's attracted to you, and you won't know until you do something about it. Because whether she's attracted to you or not doesn't mean that something is going to get done. What matters is how you act on that. So if you look at a girl and you're attracted to her, instead of waiting to see signs and waiting to see, does she like me, does she not like me, instead of doing any of that, I think what you need to do instead is follow the 3-second rule, approach her, start talking to her. Because in doing that, that's how you're really going to know whether or not she likes you. It's only in seeing how she interacts with you that you'll get a better idea of where she stands. Moonstrike says, honestly, don't focus on dating too much, peeps entering high school. It's not as perfect as it seems on the surface. I definitely agree with that. I think that we put a lot of emotional investment into dating, especially when you're in high school and middle school. Now, am I a hypocrite for saying that because my first girlfriend was in high school and I liked tons of girls and I wanted to go out with them? Maybe. But what I'm saying, though, is that we put a lot of mental energy into the idea of dating, and we don't spend enough time making friends, talking to people, interacting with them. Instead, we spend a lot of time thinking about dating. So I think that if you're going to enter relationships when you're in middle school and high school, if you're going to enter those type of relationships, enter them with a level of openness. Be okay with dating someone for a week and then breaking up, dating someone for a month and breaking up, a year, breaking up. Understand there's a fluidity to relationships when you're in high school. So it doesn't have to be so rigid and That way you're not so invested that if someone breaks up with you, your heart is completely broken into a million pieces. Atlanta Boy says, do you have videos on ADHD? I don't have any videos on ADHD. I would love to cover ADHD. I think what maybe I could do is I can reach out to, if you guys know Katie Morton, she's a therapist here on YouTube. She makes videos. I'm planning on reaching out to her for other collab videos, but I think doing a video on ADHD would be an amazing thing to talk about. Let's see. Proclone says, Josh, do you recommend me dating in high school? Tell me the reasons to date girls in school because I never dated girls. I don't know if I prefer hanging out with my buddies. I think it's a waste of time in school. Proclone, I made a video exactly for that. It's called Should I Date in High School? The Pros and the Cons. In that video, I kind of outline and I weigh, does it make sense to start dating or should you just wait? Definitely check out that video. I think it would be super helpful for you. Rents Vandal, Van de Biglar says, notice me, senpai. You are noticed. How do you make a girl like you that is older than you? That's a video that I did a while back. Had to ask someone else that's older than you, but I definitely want to revisit it because a few people have been asking me, they're like, hey, Josh, I'm in high school. I like a girl in college, or I like a girl that's already graduated college. I like a girl that's 5 years older than me. How do I pursue her? Should I pursue her? So I definitely want to touch on that again, liking someone and wanting to date someone that's way older than you. Because I think the struggle there is you need to ask yourself, would you be able to maintain a relationship despite the fact that you two are in totally different areas of your life? I think that's a key piece there. You need to ask yourself, would it actually be possible for us to date, or is this just a crush? Now, one thing I do want to tell you guys is that after these YouTube live streams, I do what's called an Instagram after party. Now, if you're not following me over on Instagram, what are you waiting for? My Instagram is @JoshSpeaks. What I do is I jump on Instagram after, I do video chats with you guys. So I bring you guys on, I answer a few questions. It's super fun. Instagram after parties are super exclusive, so only the cool kids are there, and I'd love for you to join. So make sure to follow me over on Instagram @JoshSpeaks as soon as this stream ends to join the after party over there. Haramore says, I was sent a super chat, but I don't have any money. That's okay, Haramore. I appreciate the support. If you want, share this stream out, hit the like button. All those things mean a lot to me as well. Leave comments once the video gets posted. All those things are super important. Thomas Turner says, Josh, what do you think of long-distance relationships? That's a good question, Thomas Turner. Now, I didn't have a long-distance relationship when I was in high school, but I did when I was in college. And it can be incredibly challenging to deal with. Now, the challenge I ran into when work of art, I notice you. The challenge I ran into with the long distance relationship is that there's a lot of different factors there. You deal with factors of jealousy, you deal with factors of not seeing your partner, you deal with factors of miscommunication, and all these different things come into play. So if you're going to enter a long distance relationship, what I would honestly just suggest is this. Do you feel like you'd be able to make time in your day for your partner? And do you think your partner would be able to make time for you? That's an important question to ask because a lot of times people like each other, but they know that once they start the next stage of life, college or whatever it is, they're not going to have time for each other, or they're going to be so occupied with other things that they're not going to be able to talk to one another. So you need to be able to say that you can make time for that person. Okay, then whatever says Josh, say, I won a math debate 10 times fast. All right, guys, I'm going to try this. Let's try this. I won a math debate. 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 I know what you're trying to get me to say. So kudos to you, man. Kudos to you. That is funny. All right, guys. Anyone who's following me over on Instagram, send me a message right after this live stream saying I won a math debate, and I will send you back a personalized video thanking you for it. Send me the message, I won a math debate. That is the key phrase of this. You guys try it. Try saying I won a math debate 10 times fast. Oh boy, that's crazy. Hey, I'm not dirty. I caught it in my head. I'm like, wait a second. Oh, I know exactly what he's trying to say. Hey, Clash League, what is up? But yeah, so so like I said, the long distance relationship thing I didn't have till college. My first relationship was in high school. And I ended up messing that one up. I had the courage and confidence. I had the courage and confidence to approach her and ask her out, but I didn't maintain the relationship. I was too nervous around her. I didn't treat her like a girlfriend, and because of that, she got bored of it. So I did a video on that, a whole saga of videos, like 3 or 4 videos on that, if you want to check them out. Jackal's animation says, how do I go through anxiety and stress in middle school and high school? That's a good question. I won a geography debate. Oh boy. I don't think that one has the same ring to it, Thomas. So anyway, so going through anxiety and stress in middle school and high school. Yeah, Jackals. I totally get where you're coming from, man. Look, it's like school can be stressful, right? It's a stressful environment. You have to wake up early, go to class. You have to study for tests. You have to deal with cliques and norms and bullies and all. You have to deal with all this stuff. You have to come home, do homework. Like there's just a lot of things going on. So I can totally understand where you're coming from when it comes to dealing with stress. Here's my solution for that. If you're going to have stress, you need to have a stress release. And what I would recommend as a stress release is something physical or something mental, right? Something physical could be exercise, playing a sport, going for a walk. These are things that you can do that when you're feeling stressed out, you can jump into. It's like, I'm stressed out about a test. Let me do 10 push-ups. Let me do 20 push-ups, 20 crunches. Let me, do some deadlifts. Let me just exercise, get my blood flowing, just kind of feel more relaxed. Another thing you can do is mental, right? So that might be doing something like, let me take a break from reading and let me just play a video game. Let me just do a meditation. Let me just take a nap. Let me play Fortnite, as Zolvar says. There are a lot of things you can do that are kind of mental releases. And I think if you're dealing with a lot of stress in school, having either a mental or a physical release could be super helpful for you in the long run. Kevin saying, do you know other languages? I know a phrase in French. If any of you guys know French, translate it. Je suis la jeune fille. That's what I know in French. So, Dylan saying, Josh, going to 5th year. Any advice, man? Dylan, this is it, man. This is the year you're going to totally succeed. You're going to totally knock it out. I believe in you, man. I know that, you've been working hard. I've seen you in the chat here a few times before, and you've shared stories, you've asked questions. So I know you're working hard, man. I know that you're doing your best. And I want you to know that that's recognized. And I want you to know that this year you're really going to succeed because I believe in you, man. I really do. Okay, then whatever says, say toy boat 10 times. Yeah, I can't do toy boat. I've tried that one. Gamerski saying, can I ask you something? My friend opened up to me about her past over text. She cried and was really sad. How do I help her with healing without messing everything up? That's a good question, man. So it sounds to me like she confessed something to you or told you something that was maybe a hidden part of her past that she didn't really want a lot of people to know. The first thing I would suggest doing is this. When someone shares something with you that's very deep and very personal, very sentimental in some ways, like they are trusting you with their story, right? That's the big piece here. They're confiding in you. They're sharing something that they maybe wouldn't tell anyone else because they believe in you and they care about you and they believe that you can be a listening ear and a shoulder for them to kind of lay their head on. And that's exactly the kind of sentiment you want to carry forward with them. You want them to see that they can open up to you, that they can trust you, and that they can rely on you when times get tough. And it's important to verbalize that. A lot of people don't verbalize that because they feel like it makes things weird. But if a person shares something deep with you, I think the best thing you could say is, thank you so much for being honest with me. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And I want to let you know that I'm here to help you in any way possible. If it means just listening, if it means helping you by sharing advice or just thinking something through, or just being someone by your side, I'm here. Letting a person know that is so, so important, especially after they've kind of unveiled something secretive about themselves that they've never shared before. Proclone Plays says, Josh, how do I friend zone this girl kindly? And without sounding like I have an ego or something, I just see her as a friend and that's it. Yeah, dude, I get where you're coming from. I dealt with the exact same thing when I was in high school. There was a girl that really, really liked me, and I just wasn't really into her. She was a nice girl, but just wasn't for me. And I didn't want to hurt her feelings. I didn't want to kind of like be mean to her or just kind of like tell her off. So what I had to do is I had to keep implying that I saw her as a friend. And took her a while to really understand it, but eventually she did. I kept telling her, hey, I really value the friendship we have, and I really like the fact that we're friends. I want us to stay friends, and that's cool. I would say that, and she'd be like, and she would keep flirting with me, keep doing things. And I had to keep saying like, hey, I want you to know that I really see you as a friend, and I think we are good friends. Keep implying it, keep saying that. You don't have to be mean, you don't have to be rude, just be honest. Let her know that you see her as a friend, and that's where you want to keep things, because that's definitely going to help her kind of get a better understanding. I friend zoned a girl, Thomas Turner. I definitely did. I definitely friend zoned this girl. And it's sometimes it has to happen. And and then it becomes up to her if she wants to still be friends with me or not. She chose to still be friends with me, so that was that. The main character says, "Are you ever too old to date? I'm only 15. I just want to focus on school right now. After high school, though, I think I'll be too old to go on a first date." That's an interesting question, main character. Um, hmm. I don't think you're ever too old to date. I think that, um, dating is something that people of all ages kind of do, especially as you get older. But I understand where you're coming from. If right now all you want to focus on is school, that's okay. Don't feel pressured like you have to start dating or you even have to start thinking about dating right now. You're 15, man. Like, focus on hanging out with your friends, focus on playing video games with them, focus on just going to the movies and just chilling out, relaxing. Dating brings a whole new world of things that you have to kind of worry about. So don't feel pressured into doing it just because everyone else is. Do things at your own pace. Let's see. Zolvar says, "What characteristics do you need to look into a girl before you go out with them?" That's a good question, Zolvar. What should you look for? Well, I think it really all depends on what matters to you, right? I think the thing that matters to a lot of people, especially when they're young, is looks, right? Like, we want someone who looks cute or looks hot or whatever it is. And that's fine. That's just how it is. Now, the second piece that is accompanying with that, I think, is also having a good personality. Because let me tell you guys honestly, if you're with someone that looks good, but they're just not a fun person to talk to, or they're just mean, or there's no depth to them, they're very shallow, it's going to be real hard keeping a relationship going with someone who just looks good and that's all they have going for them. So, what you should really look for is, can you develop a connection with this person? Are you both easygoing with each other? Does it just flow whenever you talk? Those are the qualities you really want to kind of put on the same level as looks. ZV Hockey says, "Josh, you couldn't have picked a better time to do the stream. I start high school on Tuesday, nervous but excited." Dude, I'm nervous for you too, man. I know a lot of you guys are just starting up high school now, and a lot of you guys are incredibly nervous about it, but I want you to know this. I got your back, all right? You don't have to go through this alone. If you have a question or a concern, shoot me a message, guys. I'm trying my best to get through as many as I can because I'm here in Paris. It's not so easy for me to kind of answer every message right now, but I will get to them. Hopefully I can get to them before you get back to school. But I'm here to talk to you guys. I'm here to listen as well. So, dude, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. You're going into high school now. You're starting a new chapter of your life, man. It's important. Let's see. Artistic Hobby says, "What do I do if I like a girl 2 years younger than me?" So here's my kind of philosophy around that. I believe that if they're within your school range bracket, then it's probably okay. So, for example, if she's a freshman and you are a junior, you're both in high school, and I think that's okay. If she is a seventh grader and you're a 10th grader, I don't think that's okay because you guys are in two totally different worlds. She's still in the middle school world and you're in the high school world, and just the environments are totally different. You're focused on high school going into college. She's focused on picking a high school. There's not going to be much you guys can really connect over. Maybe there's physical attraction, but there isn't much you can really connect over. And that's what you really want to focus on, having that deep connection. Um, Anthony says, "The way I put it, looks are just extra courses. The main course is the personality." I agree with you there, Anthony. Having a great personality is so important in a relationship. Like, looking back at my second relationship with the girl that I was long distance, it's like we had a deep connection. But the problem was that we had different perspectives on things. And for her, she was a little bit more sarcastic and rude. And that type of personality wasn't something I messed with, right? Like, I cared about being kind to people and understanding, but she wasn't always on that kind of wavelength. So we did clash a lot there. Okay, then, whatever says, "Are you conservative or liberal?" I took one of those kind of poll things, and it put me, I think, left-leaning liberal. I think that's what it said I was. Left on a lot of social issues, I guess. Um, Maybe more libertarian on economic issues. I don't really remember. I took it a while ago. I don't really consider myself an extreme of anything. I think the values that matter to me most are being kind, being compassionate, being caring. How can I carry that forward while empowering people to kind of rise forward and feel like they can make a difference in this world? Like, those are the values that matter to me. So any other kind of policies and things like that, if they align to those values, I'd support them, whether they're left or right. How long are you in Paris for? Quite a while. We're going to be here, I think, for like some time. Ren says, "Do you have any advice for best friend breakup?" Oh, that's a tough one, man. Breaking up with your best friends is hard. It's hard because You know, maybe you guys got into a fight and it's like you broke up, not because you really wanted to, just because it's like you got angry and both people are prideful and no one wants to step down. I mean, I've been there before, man. I've gotten into fights with my friends before. Um, I think when it comes to dealing with the best friend breakup, the best thing for you to do is to give them their space. A lot of times people want to jump in and kind of fix it really quickly, but you need to give people a little bit of space to think things through. To think through, hey, maybe I shouldn't have said that thing, or maybe I should message them again. You want people to kind of analyze the situation before you jump in and try to like fix it, because jumping in and trying to fix it might actually pull you guys further apart. Okay, then whatever says, how do you feel about the Boy Scouts having allowed girls to join? I think it's fine. I mean, I don't see a problem with it. I mean, I was in Boy Scouts growing up, and a lot of the things we did, I mean, I think Girl Scouts could have been a part of, and it wouldn't really have been an issue, right? Like, look at summer camp. How many kids go to summer camp and do the same activities, whether they're girls or boys, or you know, or identify as anything else? Like, at the end of the day, it's like we'd have to ask yourself, what are the activities that are being done, and do they need to be gender specific? If the activities don't need to be gender specific, then I don't think it really matters too much. Zolvar says, is it okay if your girlfriend gives you a BJ at 14? Should you feel ashamed? So that's an interesting question, Zolvar. Everyone progresses in a sexual way at different ages, right? Some people are younger, some people are older. I think whatever age you are, if I'm assuming both of you guys are minors, that might be something you want to talk to your parents mainly about. Are they okay with you? Not whatever comes to what you're doing, but are they okay with you being physically active with someone? I don't think anyone should feel ashamed for exploring and learning, but I think that you have to ask yourself, what are you comfortable with and what are your parents comfortable with? Because all of that is important. It's important that everyone is on board and everyone feels comfortable knowing that, knowing what's going on. So your parents know that maybe you are being physically active with someone and they're okay with that. That's an important thing to know. Josh, how many genders are there? So that's a deep question, a whole rabbit hole to go on. If you're talking about genders in terms of socially constructed genders, I think that, I mean, technically it's like, if you were to even start with male and female, like there would be subsections within that, right? Like some people may identify more as boy, and then even within identifying as boy, some people might feel more feminine and identify as boy. It's like, you can really break down the socially constructed ideas. If you're talking about biologically, well, that's a different kind of question. And I mean, biologically, we may have a male and female, but it kind of, like I said, you have to really. I would just say the best thing to do is to kind of look at the science and to look at the social sciences and kind of study those areas and see what the general consensus is. My opinion really doesn't matter so much because it's not something I study. So I can say there's this, there's that, but really what it comes down to is just looking at where does the body of research in social science stand? Where does the body of research in science stand, and how do they overlap? Gamerski says, we as humans like to overcomplicate everything, right? Definitely do. I think that it's in our nature to overcomplicate things. Like, we overthink things all the time. Like, I remember when I was in high school, I would overthink things all the time. I would constantly worry about, like, does this girl like me? You know, are those people going to think I'm weird? If I talk in class or raise my hand, are people going to laugh at me? Like, we're constantly like shooting ourselves in the foot and burning our own bridges because we're afraid of rejection. It's like we would rather like cut ties from doing something and learning if it means not getting hurt, right? Like, if there's a potential of getting hurt, it's easier for us sometimes to not even approach it, even if it means we might succeed. And that's a challenge. That's a challenge that I think we all face. Let's see. Class Leak says, Josh, what do I do if I have a crush on a girl who's from my hometown, but we go to different schools, but the same age? It's a good question. So you have a crush on a girl from your hometown, you go to different schools, different schools be the same age. Now, if you guys go to different schools and you're from the same hometown, then there's a potential that the two of you might be able to meet up in person, right? I think that's a challenge that a lot of people run into, that they don't really know, like, how do I pursue someone that, is in a different school? I don't see them every day. I don't talk to them every day. It's difficult to approach those things. I think what it comes down to is this. It's that if you want to pursue them and you have a way of communicating with them or talking to them, so let's say you can talk to them on Snapchat or Instagram or wherever it may be, do it through there. Try to build a connection with them there. And because you guys are in the same neighborhood, you can always ask her to hang out, and the two of you can go and hang out together. I see a whole bunch of things in the chat here about the gender, 69 genders, a million genders, all these different things. I mean, I try to explain it as, I think, from my perspective, as best as I can. You'd have to really look at the kind of social sciences behind it, and as well as the science and biological science behind it. And you'd have to also define and be specific what you mean when you say the word gender, because gender, just like a lot of words, have become bloated with a lot of different ideas, right? So, you know, we may classify something as a gender, but it may not be considered a gender depending on the science field that you're talking about. So it really depends on the specifics of what you're talking about. You'd have to identify the word, and then we work off that definition of your definition of the word. That's how I would say it. But if you guys are curious, let's see, male and female are the only genders. Like I said, so Atlanta boy, it seems like you'd have to identify what you mean by the word genders. It sounds like you might specifically be using gender to be equivalent to sex, right? So gender equals sex. And because of that, you draw the distinction that male and female are the only two genders because you're basing gender on sex. So like I said, there's a lot of different ways how you break it down. It comes down to what you mean when you use the word, because words matter. All right, I'm going to answer one more question. Guys, thank you so much for being a part of this. If you haven't already, hit the thumbs up button. I like a whole debate in this chat. Yeah, it's like a whole debate. I love debates. Maybe we'll do another live stream just having debates. I do love to explore things. And that's why I love doing these live streams, guys. I love talking to you and kind of breaking down ideas, exploring them, really thinking things through. Because at the end of the day, like I said, what matters to me is carrying forward with the values of compassion and kindness. And if we're not going to carry those values forward, then it's like everything else that we decide, they have no grounding. The grounding has to be in something. For me, it's kindness and compassion. All right. Let's see. Atlanta boy saying male and female is the definition of gender. Like I said, so the definition of gender that you're using is rooted in being equivalent to sex, whereas I was saying, like, gender could also, in a socially constructed way, mean different things, right? So we can say items are gendered, right? And we may mean that they're gendered based on a gender binary. So for example, a toy truck is a gendered item, but a broom isn't a gendered item, right? We're speaking on that binary there. Now, would you say a broom is genderless, but a toy is gendered? So you'd have to really, like I said, you have to really think critically about the terminology you're using and how it's being applied. I think that's what matters most. Okay, one more question. ProClone says, Josh, close the stream with this question. How do I stay cool mentally in school and handle pressure? That's a really good question, ProClone, and here's my advice on that. When it comes to kind of keeping your cool in school, when you start to feel overwhelmed and you start to worry about you know, like failing classes or getting picked on or not having friends or just getting rejected or all these different things, the one thing you need to remember is that you are likable for who you are. No one else's opinion, no teacher, no friend, no crush, no one else's opinion, no parent, no anyone should define who you are. That's something for you to choose. It's something that you make, right? So what I mean by that is that you are the person who's going to decide what you want to pursue in life, how you want to live, how you want to carry yourself. Everyone else can give you opinions, they can give you ideas, they can give you suggestions, but at the end of the day, you make the decision. So when you're feeling stressed out and you feel like you're not meeting other people's standards, remember at the end of the day, the only standards you need to meet are your own, no one else's. You don't have to worry and stress and say, well, I need to do what other people want because they want me to do it. Do what you want to do. And always be working towards improving yourself. That's the key here. If you're working towards improving yourself, when you hit a roadblock, like you get rejected or you fail a test or whatever it may be, when you hit those roadblocks, the best thing for you to do is to say, you know what? I don't have to compare myself to anyone else. I'm only going to compare myself to who I was yesterday. Compare yourself to the older version of you and see how you've grown, see how you've improved. That, I think, is the best way to deal with stress. Remember that it doesn't have to define who you are. Your mistakes don't define who you are. It's your learning experiences, how you learn and carry forward. That's what really defines who you are. Guys, thank you so much for being a part of this live stream. Like I said, join me over on Instagram just for a little bit to do the Instagram after party. If you're not following me over there, Instagram is @JoshSpeaks. Atlanta boy, I'd love to continue this conversation on gender and sex and biology and all these different things. Shoot me a DM, man. Let's have a conversation about it. I really want to wrap my mind around your processing and how you piece it all together. Because I think you're carrying a conclusion, but I'd want to know the pieces that you got to the conclusion, right? Like, I think that goes for anything. I want to know how anyone came to the thought. But guys, like I said, I've shared a few stories and experiences I had in high school all week long, and then tomorrow I'm talking about bullying. All week long, I've been talking about high school and what it's like, and like what it was like for me, and different things you should know going into it. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. I hope this is helpful. If it was, hit the thumbs up button, and I'd love to carry the conversation, continue it with you guys, not only on Instagram, but definitely in the comments. So once this video goes up, leave your comments. I want to know when you guys are starting high school, right? Have you already started? What grade you're going into? And I want to know, what are your biggest fears and your biggest challenges or your biggest opportunities that you see? What is it you want to do this year? How do you want to make this year high school your own? Thank you guys again for being a part of this. I love talking to you guys. I had a blast. Thank you so much for bearing with me while I was here in France. Au revoir. Au revoir, I guess. I don't know. All right, guys. I'll catch you over on... Oh, God, I just pulled my headphones. I'll catch you over on Instagram. As always, guys, love and peace. See you guys next time.